a lot can happen in 2 weeks, and in terms of with the Villa, it sure has. I mean, since that flat, dire performance against Everton, I mean, it's like kind of forgotten about now, because since then we've gone to Europe, one of the most hostile grounds, and got not only a win but kept a clean sheet, and that was Fenerbahce away. Then our Premier League game, which was, against Newcastle at St James's Park, we haven't won there in something ridiculous like, something like 21 years. And again, we went there, not only won, but kept another clean sheet, very much unlike us, a 2-0 win, a job very well done, right? And then we had another European game, and that saw a dramatic comeback win. From 2 down, winning the game 3-2 with 2 youth players combining to get the winning goal. Amazing. And today, it's Matchday 24. From Villa Park, it brings us Aston Villa versus Brentford. I can't emphasise now, as the season progresses, every game gets more and more important. That there is the North Stand, and that is part of the major redevelopment that will take place, increasing Villa's capacity from around the current 40, I think it's just over 43,000 now. It'll hit the 50,000 mark once it's complete. I believe it's going to be complete by the end of 2027, in time for the Euros. That over there is also part of the redevelopment, which they're calling it the warehouse project. At the minute, it's not fully complete. It's like an open concourse area at the minute for fans to come in, enjoy a few beers before the game as well as after the game. But once it's complete, it's going to be an all year round multi-purpose venue, from concerts, gigs, major sporting events. It'll all happen, and I think the capacity will be 3,500. So again, looking forward to that. Once that's done, it really will make it will enhance Villa's revenue and make Villa Park not only a match day experience but an all year round experience. So really looking forward to once it's all complete. Just got through the turnstiles and now into the lower hold to concourse. Show you around with the developments that we've had here. So that there is the new tap and go, where you just walk in, tap your card, pick a pint of beer or cider, and a bite to snack on, like chips, crisps, fizzy pop, and walk out. I think where we can have an improvement is having a bigger or more hot drink kiosks, because this over here is the only one that you have, and the queues for this are absolutely ridiculous. Come half time, honestly, by the time you get served, the second half has already kicked off. So it'd be good if Villa can look at that. And what they used to have was the Punjabi grill. Oh yeah, when I say used to, they still have it, and there it is. So when you want a bite to eat, honestly, you cannot get, I don't think there's a better matchday experience. Maybe there's bias in me, but honestly, you get mixed meat on your tray with chips, absolutely banging and worth every pound that you pay towards it. The boys are out for their match day warm-up. just got back in the car. It's ended at Villa Park full time. I mean, oh dear, where do I start? Final score, Aston Villa 0, Brentford 1. I mean, what do I say? I mean, it's a real shame because the momentum we carried, through the entire of December, the results that we got, beating the likes of Chelsea, Arsenal at home, we had some big wins. And they were coming into the new year thinking, we see ourselves third, with like a 10-point gap or whatever it was between the teams below us, and, right up there against the likes of Man City and Arsenal. And no disrespect to Everton and today's opponent, but because of that month, you'd think that there's 2 home games. We were labelled as Fortress Villa Park. That's long gone now. And you would think that's 6 points. And if we had won, both games, we would have been right up there. It wasn't, I wouldn't say it was flat today, but maybe predictable. It was, Brentford had a man sent off in the first half, late in the first half. I think it was in the injury time. And they literally went, just before the half-time whistle blew and banged in the goal. And 1-0 at half-time with a man down. You think, okay, we're going to have to, come back in the second half again. Typical Villa doing it the hard way. But it wasn't to be. Second half came. Yeah, we had a lot of the ball. Statistically, I haven't looked at the stats, but apparently 28 shots. No, out of the 28... not many look like the good opportunities. It was really predictable today. A lot of side-to-side passing. Couldn't really cut them up. There was a moment or two. Rodgers got through, had a shot, but the shot was weak. I think Bailey got through as well. Again, he had the shot, but it went over the bar. Yeah, we needed. It was that kind of a game where Brentford were always going to put men behind the ball once they went the man down, and we needed that moment of magic. Someone had to produce some real magic to cut open that defense and score the goal. We did score a goal, but whether you want to call it a bit of controversy from the refereeing, I'm not too sure. Apparently, Bailey had the ball by the byline. It went out of play. Did it? Did it not? And then Villa, carried on, had the ball, had possession, went down the other end and scored the goal. But Brentford players were insisting to the referee after that the ball had gone out of play. But it was like, time had passed. Controversial or not, it was just disappointing, particularly today because it was against 10 men, and for a whole half, we failed to cut a defence open. Yeah, they had men behind the ball, but it's no excuses. That this team is going to stay back. They're a goal ahead. You just got to find a way to cut them open. We had enough tools to do that. Emery swapped, he put on Bailey for that second half. So we had the 2 wide men, Bailey and Sancho, who both stayed on the pitch. Tammy stayed on. It was just, it was really disappointing. But you know what? That's it. It's done. Today's done and dusted. And we are, unfortunately, we're still in third place, but it's going the other teams are catching up, and we've got a right task on our hands now. I mean, the next 2 games, Bournemouth away, Brighton at home, nothing's a given now. All these expectations of when we should win, when we shouldn't, it's gone out the window because it's such a tough league. And it's a shame today having Tammy's, debut as well as Dougie Louise. And having to we were all there, thinking, just don't lose it. If we can't win it, don't lose it. But we just couldn't get the goal to even equalise. But yeah, they're the next 2 games that we've got. It's tough. They're coming thick and fast. But, we're still in there. On the positive side, we're still in third. The rest of the teams are playing catch up. They're not far away. We still have the momentum, but we can't continue to have games like this especially at home, if we are to stay in this top four and to play Champions League football next season. And it's really important for Aston Villa Football Club to do that. For the whole PSR side of things and the revenues and all of that. The focus now are the games ahead. We've got Bournemouth away coming thick and fast next weekend to put things right. And then I believe it's the next home game in a week and a half's time. It's a midweek game against Brighton, another big one, and to put things right at Villa Park. We haven't scored in 2, haven't won in 2, have to get that right. I'll just bury my head in the sand for a night, but I'll soon get over today's result. But we have to get back on it, and we'll be back as supporters in full voice. Until then, safe travels, take care, and as always, up the Villa.